YouTube, I'm swimming today. I'm swimming. Kick, 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 kick. Welcome back to a video. A bit of a different video today, actually. We are educating, but not in a game sense. I'm going to explain to you today how being healthy will make you a better gamer and content creator. If that's what you're into. But where did this come from? So, I was chatting Discord. I was actually at the gym at the time. I was on my phone in Discord, and I put in, we should have a fitness channel. And why I would want a fitness channel is because sometimes when you're training, you're trying to improve yourself, it's good to have some form of support bubble. You know, our Discord is booming at the moment, the Team Slash Discord, link in the description. And when you have that support bubble around you, it can really make all the difference. It can bring you up when you're on a bad day. You know, if people are sharing the workouts, you might be inspired or motivated. If people are sharing the meals, again, you might be inspired or motivated to have some healthy meals. That sort of thing. I think it's good to have bring a little fitness community together. That's all I was looking for. It was with good intention, but I didn't really like the feedback that I got. The reaction was not what I wanted. I said being healthy makes you a better gamer, and I got some backlash, and I did not approve of this backlash. No, that's sort of where these videos coming from. I'm hoping people are going to come into this open-minded, come away from it having learned something new. That is the aim. I will say, I am in a power of expertise and qualification, yeah? Typically, with personal training, exercise, fitness, all these topics, people seem to know it all, yeah? If you ring a plumber up or an electrician or someone to come to your house to do some work for you, you trust that they know what they're doing. But for some reason in this industry, people already know all the answers. They'll say to you, I'm overweight, I need to lose some fat. And you tell them how to do it. They'll go, well, that's not the right way. And you go, yeah, it is. But if a plumber come over, you go, it's not how you change the pipe. You're like a fucking dickhead, don't you? This is just the nature of it. This is just nature. I'm personal trainer qualified. I am pre and post natal qualified. I'm older exercise qualified. And more importantly, I'm what is called GP referral qualified. I did this just before COVID hit. And the name is a bit misleading, but what it means is that I can train people who suffer with certain conditions and use fitness and exercise as a part of their treatment. Not replace treatment, but use it as a tool alongside other treatments like surgeries, medication, all this sort of good stuff. This does include things like depression, anxiety, which is relevant to the topic today. So, what does it mean to be healthy? Well, follow me. Healthy definition: in a good physical or mental condition, in good health. So, how do we achieve being healthy? Obviously, it's very vague, it's non specific. But how do we achieve this? For me, there's four subtopics underneath health in order to achieve it. So, you must exercise, must have a good diet, must have good sleep, which is my personal favourite topic. I fucking love learning about sleep, discussing sleep, that sort of thing. And emotional management too, that is very important. So let me break these steps down for you. Exercise. We're not asking you to climb Mount Everest. The government guidelines are there for a reason, and those guidelines are 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise, and the word moderate is for purpose. Or you could do 75 minutes of intense exercise, which would be very hard to do in one day. Intense exercise would be very hard. So moderate, if you do a scale of 0 to 10, also known as RPE, rate of perceived exertion, you'd be looking at a 6 or a 7 out of 10. So nothing too hard. So you might look to do something like a walk. It'd be simple as doing a walk. If you did a walk, what? So 150 minutes. If you did a walk 5 days a week for half an hour, you would reach the government guideline. That would be enough to meet the criteria for exercise, in my opinion. And also, the government's opinion, which is a pretty valid opinion. Diet. Now, health and diet is very vague. People would say that food is healthy, that food is not healthy. This is not the case. It's not binary. It's not good or bad. There's a scale. And the scale is, what do you get for a return out of the calories you consume? So let's take a chocolate bar. You typically consider a chocolate bar to be unhealthy. And the reason is because it's high calories, and all you get out of it is a lot of sugars, a lot of simple carbs. If you take broccoli or raspberries, as an example, very low calories, but you get a lot for those calories too. The amount of nutrition that you get out of eating the same amount of calories with the raspberries, so you would the same amount of calories out of a chocolate bar, would be chalk and cheese difference. Yeah? You would get a lot more vitamins, minerals, all that good stuff out of the veg than you would the simple carbs. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So this is the scale that we can work with. For diet, you would typically go with what is called an 80-20 rule. So 80% of your calories would be considered to be good, healthy calories. The other 20% can be whatever you want, and that can be a daily target, it could be a weekly target, you could break down however you would like to. But this is the general rule that people should aim for. And you know what? When you do 80-20, you'll learn how easy it is. 80-20 is very good because it's very consistent, easy to be good at. A lot of people have to do keto and Weight Watchers and all these different types of diets, whatever it may be. But the one thing they struggle at is keeping it consistent. Is it good enough to suit you for life? And ultimately, when it comes to a diet, this is what you need. So that 20% is important. And it's important to remember, it's not 20% of the food you eat, it's 20% worth of calories. So let's say you're on a 2,500 daily calorie diet, it's only 500 worth. You're not going to get a lot of nice food in that 500 bracket. It's just the way it is. Sleep. Sleep is very important. Hello, post-production Matt here. I'm going to slot it in right here. Just think about how important sleep is, okay? You lie on the floor, you're doing nothing, you do not move in your sleep, and you black out, your senses are eliminated. And now think back to a time when we weren't the dominant species on the planet. Think about the fact that we were once prey. Now, sleep must be important if we're going to lay there for 8 hours and do nothing, which gives predators perfect time to come and nibble on us. Just think about how important it must be for sacrificing, dying for it. Yeah? On with the show. Everyone should be getting between 7 to 9 hours sleep per night. I'll explain later on how this is relevant to becoming a better gamer. I'm just explaining the premise on how to be healthy first. And then emotional management, sort of self-explanatory. If you're happier, then you'll be better. If you're in a good mental state, then that's good. But if you're not, then it's important to do things to help sort that out, whether it be therapy or other things. What I would say is that if you're doing the first 3, the 4th one will come easy to you. Trust me, I know from personal experience and from doing the qualifications that I talked about previous. How did each of these 4 steps make you a better gamer? This is what you're all here for. I had to explain all this first. It'll wrap around, it'll make sense. So if you're training, if you're doing exercise, how does that make you a better gamer? Well, if you want to be a better gamer, you're going to be putting a lot of hours into your craft. Makes sense, right? Practice makes perfect. Gaming is no exception. But if you sat on a chair all day, that's not good for you, and that's where exercise can help you. So, typically, people that work at schools, work in an office all day, have had a lot of personal experience with this. They're always like this. Let me get myself. So, like, they've got what is called kyphosis. I'll show you a picture. But it's where they're slouched. The leader for this is me trying to exaggerate it. It's bad posture. Let's see if we can find a picture. So this is what kyphosis looks like. It's basically this excessive curvature of the thoracic spine. Basically, it means you just lean forward and you're hunched over, a bit like Notre Dame. This is bad. This is not good. So if you chose to do exercise, let's say you went to go to the gym and do resistance training, what you can do is a lot of back exercises, so a lot of rows, a lot of pulling movements. Push, pull, leg split, you might have heard of that. That's why. Oh, we've got blurry, we're not blurry anymore. So if you're forward like this, you're doing a lot of pull things to bring you back up. It helps bring your back and your spine nice and aligned. Ultimately, if you have kyphosis, it's going to cause you a lot of pain. If you're going to become better at gaming and you're in pain, is that going to hinder your progress? Yes, it would. Being in pain is not nice. But let's say you didn't like resistance training and you don't suffer from kyphosis or whatever. You do stretches, regular stretches whilst you game, which is a perfectly good way to counter kyphosis. Exercise has been proven to make you feel better in a number of ways, and I'll explain those now. First of all, they produce endorphins, and endorphins are hormones that make you feel good. Simple. So you go, you do your exercise, you feel good after it. That's normal. But if you to do training properly, you approach it correctly, you'll set yourself some goals, and if you hit those goals, these are things that also make you feel good. And then these things, as you do them over and over and over again, you start off, you get very confident, not very happy. You come in, you set your goal, you do it for 4 weeks, you hit your goal, you feel a bit happy, a bit more confident, you become a little bit more adventurous with your goals. You do the same thing, then you meet your goals again, you become a little bit more happy, a little bit more confident. And this is a positive spiral, it keeps going and going and going and going and going and going. And it brings you more joy in life. Trust me, be there myself, I've gone through the journey and experienced it with clients also. And if you're happier and you're more confident, you can take these things and implement it into gaming also. You might just sit here and think, I fucking suck at COD. That attitude's gonna get you nowhere. What you need is the confidence to try things you wouldn't normally try, to get yourself out of your comfort zone. This is what will make you better. And ultimately, if you're happier and more confident, this will increase your enthusiasm for things. And if your enthusiasm's higher, your approach to getting better at the game is better. Ultimately, what I've come to realise is with my own improvement in the game, let's just take on, for example, I've gone from like a 0.8 to a 1.45. I was averaging a 2 KD, puts me on top 1%. We don't need to talk about that too much. Point being is that your approach matters. Yeah. My approach was always, when something went wrong, my approach was always, what could I have done better? There's a lot of times I've played with people and they're blaming the teammates or they're blaming certain weapons or COD timing, whatever the excuse may be, and those plays stay the same. If you have the right approach, it matters, and going to the gym, doing whatever exercise it may be, helps you with the right approach. And last thing, doing a lot of exercise just gives you more energy. I'm not quite sure the science behind it, but it is what it is. You feel more energized, and if you're more energized whilst you're doing your practices or whilst you're doing your scrims, whilst you're playing the game, that will help you get better at the game. That is just something that should make sense. If you're feeling tired, it's going to affect your decision making, it's going to affect your mood. We could sort of tie that concept into your diet. So if you have a good diet, feel better, feel more energized. Same thing. I feel like the two sort of go hand in hand, so it just seems pointless me saying the exact same words again. But the same thing applies to your diet. If you feel energized, your approach to your training sessions, the scrims, the actual games will be better. Okay, sleep. My favourite topic. I'm so happy I get to talk about this now. Sleep will help you with your gaming in so many ways, and I'm going to explain them all now. Don't click off. Be open-minded. Don't be ignorant. Don't be in the comments. You're all wrong, Matthew. You're all wrong. Let me explain. As I've explained, if you're tired, being tired affects your mood. Yeah. The reason why babies cry when they're tired is because it fucks your hormones up. Get good sleep. It'll make you better. If you're not tired when you're approaching your gaming, your sessions will be better. If you're tired, it'll affect your decision making. Like I said, you'll be slower, and reaction time, especially first person shooters, are very important. But let's go deeper than that. let's just go past the surface level, or if you're a little bit tired, then it might make it a little bit worse. Yeah. Shall we go past that a little bit? Let's talk about it from a content creation point of view. Okay? Getting proper sleep makes you more attractive. I know, how bad is that? But it's true. But it's true, and I'll explain how. So, experiments have been done. Is there experiments? Is that the word I'm looking for? Studies have been done, whatever it is, I can't remember now. Basically, they got a group of people, and for a week, they had this group of people be on only 5 hours sleep. How many do you need? 79. Well remembered. Put them on 5 hours sleep. They were massively sleep deprived for a week. And they took pictures of them all. All of them. Then got the same people, give them proper sleep for a week. Took pictures of them. Yeah. They then had a random group of people, and they were asked to rate the people and how they looked, how attractive were the people. Rated them 1 to 10. And on average, when the people had less sleep, the scores were lower. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. When the people had more sleep, the scores were higher. So therefore, when you have proper sleep, you're more attractive. Hence, this. And if we're in a content creation world, unfortunately, whether people like it or not, being attractive will help your business. That is simple. But let's talk about it in a gaming sense. They did an experiment on rats to show that having proper sleep improves your cognitive function, so it's your brain skill and your mechanical skill whilst you're playing. So they had these rats do a maze, and they had probes on their head, and they recorded the brain's activity that was responsible for problem solving and cognitive skill. So when the rats were awake and they were trying to solve the puzzle in the moment, there wasn't that much more brain activity. However, when the rats were asleep, the portion of the brain that was responsible for this, the brain waves were ridiculous. They were off the charts. That's because whilst the rat was asleep, the brain was processing everything and learning. And then when the rat woke up, it did the maze and the puzzle more easily. And the same thing can be applied to humans. I've actually experienced this myself. So there was a time when I wanted to learn the drums. And I'm sat there and I'm playing the drums and I'm doing a certain beat that I wanted to do, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't hit it. And I tried it over and over and over and over again for about an hour. I made no progress whatsoever. So I left it for the day, went to bed, had good sleep, came back to it the next day, and I just did it like that. Trust me, it sounds mad, and it is mad. It is just true. So when you want to get better at gaming and you're practicing, you do your remote stuff, you better get frustrated and frustrated in the moment. If you have good sleep, come back to it in the morning, I'm telling you, you'll be so much better at it. You'll be so much better. You just have to trust me on this. And this comes to like small mechanical things, so things that you're going to be doing with your fingers. So let's just take Call of Duty for example. If you want to learn how to do a bunny hop or a slide cancel, these sort of quite mechanical movements. I'm doing this because I use my pads. You'll get better. You will get better if you have good sleep. Okay, and the third reason related to sleep that I'm going to talk about today is because there's correlations between poor sleep and memory loss. There's potential links to things like dementia and Alzheimer's. I'm not sure how concrete the research is and the evidence is for that as of today, but there's correlations between the two. Now, I'm hoping I shouldn't have to explain why having memory loss would make you worse at gaming and our content creation. I'll leave you to figure that one out. And then emotional management. Like I said, if you're in a good, happy space, you infuse them towards these things, you're better. And if you're enthusiastic and energized, which will come as a part of the other three, I found that myself that when I'm on a bad day and I'm feeling sad and stuff, my work isn't very concise. You know, I could have 8 hours where I'm sat here focusing on making videos. I'm at interest peaks and troughs like this. I'm not concise. It takes forever to do. But then there's days when I'm feeling good and better. Come on, 2 hours and I got just the same amount of work done. Sometimes it's not about how long you do your work for, it's how concise you are whilst you're at it. You know, when you're feeling worse, you're more prone to distraction stuff like this. TikTok's awful for it. Yeah, you bastards. You know, if you're in a better place mentally, I don't think it comes as a surprise that everything you do will be better. You know, if you have a bad day on COD because you're feeling bad, and you come back the day after, you're not really going to be in the mood for it. You're not going to be enthusiastic for it. You're not going to be as motivated. If you come on, you're in a better mood. You're already approaching the game better. You're more likely to do better as a result. And then when you have a good day on it, you're excited about it the next day. And these things work in spirals. I'd like to think you've come away with this learning something new. Whether you believe what I say is up to you. Whether you think being healthy makes you a better gamer or content creator is up to you. This is just my side of the argument. I do like to think I have some level of expertise and qualification within this discussion. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Thank you very much for listening to me. I know it's a bit of a long one. It's 23 minutes this recording. We'll see how long I can cut it down by. But hope you enjoyed it. If you like this sort of content, let me know. I'll try and do more of it. See you next time.